Yeah, I can't believe I get to walk around New York City today. I'm on Mercer and Broome Street. It's like you're on vacation permanently. When you're walking, it just feels like you're in Eden. Colors a little bit brighter. You know that God is operating around everything. Everything seems pleasant. No big deal. It may seem overwhelming. You're like, can he jump out of the corner? Nah, he remains hidden. That's all in your head. But it will feel somewhat overwhelming sometimes. And just always remember, if you start to get worried about something, wait, nope, that's my mind. That's that old serpent slithering in. It's all good. The laws of physics apply, right? Everyone has their own free will. Don't worry about trying to influence them or read their thoughts or whatever. That's his job. You just get to kick it in Eden. You don't even have to tell anyone at all. And the admission requirements are full confession, upload it to the internet. You understand that the world's ending because of the apocalypse, climate change or whatever. And the deadline is just a lot sooner than 10 years from now or, 18 or 20 years from now or 100 years from now. It's right now. It's all over the headlines. It's not to frighten you. It's just to say, look, you can put that in your mind. It's like, okay, that's that. So I just live for right now. And the key is, once you have that uploaded, you've kind of sacrificed. He sees that you did it. And then he starts to activate your brain on a cellular level. Makes you feel buzzed. And you got no worries at all. And anytime you feel overwhelmed, this is very important you understand this. Anytime you feel overwhelmed at all, you will feel overwhelmed sometimes. Okay? It's all happy, and then, our minds and emotions and stuff, you're like, man, this whole reality is different. It's okay. It's just you're processing through it. Because we've been operating in an incorrect system for so long. It's just not his system, I guess is what I'm saying. It's not as good as it could have been. So when you get into Eden, you're like, man, this is awesome. And it can be overwhelming. You'll cry. You'll be like, this is real? Yes, it's a gift from him. Okay, colors will seem slightly more enhanced. You know you've admitted everything. You're waiting, sort of watching the apocalypse. When it gets warmer and stuff, you think about it. You're kind of rooting for it. It shows that you made the right decision. And everyone on the other side of it is like, oh, they're uncomfortable. And then when they come over, then they're like, oh, this is so much better. We're like, yeah, we know. And we just broadcast those transitions. And it's important to record it, even though you may look like a fool on the street. People do this all the time, no big deal. And you're just documenting your journey. And if you see a coincidence, film it. Whatever the heck that is. That's not really a coincidence for me. I just saw it and I turned, just as an example. That could mean something to you. That could be one of your coincidences. And he knows who that thing is important to and who it's not. So for me, when I look at that, I just walk right by. But, someone else may be like, oh my God, my friend made that. That's crazy. I'm in town. Maybe I should give him a call. Be on alert whenever that happens. It's not a big deal. And they're like little breadcrumbs. Like my coincidences are, I fit every prophetic requirement from Revelation 13. No big deal. Or Revelation 12. And can decipher the entire book, phrase by phrase. And let's see. Oh yeah, have a cure for all illness. No big deal. We're going to put it up in a package deal, broadcast it to the world. We're going to heaven on earth. It's going to be sick. We're going to have the Battle of Armageddon, which is going to be in northern Israel. We're going to have every artist as a battle of the bands and the minds. Israel's going to host. Because they couldn't end the transgressions. They couldn't atone for sin. They couldn't appoint a holy one. So now they're going to get the anointed one. And God, he waited for that final deadline, May 14th, 2018. And then 6 days later, he delivered on the sea of glass and fire from me. Just a crazy dude. But actually, it turns out to be the real deal. The Lion of the tribe of Judah. Okay, so anyway, but when it happens, don't worry. And I want to also take a second and thank God. God, you're getting all the credit for this, man. I don't know how the fuck he did this. I mean, I see it in hindsight, and it's crazy, but man, he's the king of the jungle. I submit to him, he runs it all, and then he supercharges my life in his own way. I don't know. It's not a greed thing, though. You don't do this because you want a supercharged life. You do it for him, and he knows what your motivations are. And if you're just trying to desperately prove his existence, then indirectly, as long as you confidently, when you see something on the street that a scientist would be like, this is bullshit, like, the probability you're going to bump into those. God is probability, man. There's a probability of 1. That means it's always him. And it was just for you because he knew you'd look in that direction at that time. And he can use it for other people too. But not everyone. If you could choose where to place something or where to direct someone's eyes to catch something like that, and it means you stay hidden from people, but you also can communicate, you're home. And all Jesus did was notice a bunch of coincidences around his birth, the prophecy, same with Moses, same with me. And it locks in my mind that there is a God. That's how he talks, and that's what we all picked up on. It's the same thing. And rather than sitting there and trying to reverse engineer it and play God, like some people want to do when they hear this message, it's the easiest thing to do is just kick back and be like, dude, we're in paradise. What's cool is we have a shitload of technology now. Now, I don't know if, my gut tells me that's a good thing. God knew this was going to happen. He knew Adam was going to eat from the tree of knowledge or whatever. Original sin. But now we got it, and now it's time to have him supercharge everyone so we can see how to truly use it. Not me, it's him. He's going to be directing you. All you're doing is following every coincidence in your life until he leads you to your perfect role. And no one has to solve the role of Messiah, because I had to do that. Now that it's done, rip off the Band-Aid, full confessions, get your body well, and then it's time to play with him. Just remember, obey the 10 Commandments. They're like the rules of the simulation. Okay, keep them in mind. Know that he's monitoring you, even if it doesn't seem like it. You'll be like, is this guy crazy? Whatever. He's there. And then cool shit's going to happen as you start hooking people up, but not bragging about it or documenting it. You do it privately. Why is it private? Because if someone bought you a steak dinner when you were starving, would you want them to take your fucking picture and put it on Instagram? Say, hey, I bought this dude a steak dinner? No, it's fucking humiliating. But because there's a God, he's monitoring what you're doing, so he sees it. He sees that you're A, helping someone, and B, not fucking humiliating them. And those two requirements make sense. If you're God, you run the whole show, and you see people helping each other, but they're fucking pimping them out, that's a problem. It also shows you don't believe. But if you do it privately, then it shows you believe. You're not getting anything in return on the surface when you're getting everything in return. And he starts to supercharge your life immediately. And that whole brain activation thing, it's like, well, you just, it's a, I don't know, the argument would be, well, it's a mentally ill episode is what you're having. Nah, but it's stabilized. And to be stable in this frame of mind is sane. And to be in the other frame of mind, that's mentally ill. But you got to have rules. And anyone who's ever had an episode who got hyper-religious, thought they were God or Jesus or whatever, they will find, and if they ask themselves, they gave up voluntarily or they broke one of those 10 commandments. 100%. And if you keep his commandments, he's infinitely forgiving. He's not going to push it too hard. And if you fucking break them, you're going to pay the price. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a man-made price to pay. It could be a tree that drops on you. It could be you stub your toe. It could be you get the flu, whatever it is. Or it could be that, you're arrested, something bad. Some tool in the world he will use to knock you down. Because he's the law. Wow. The king of the jungle. Okay. So you're not going to be trying to persuade a bunch of people. That's my job just by making my movie. unlocks the mystery of God. Everyone gets to decide what they want to do. Then we can all move on with our lives. Okay? Going to heaven on earth. And it's a free market, i.e. people are going to do it voluntarily, not because they're forced. But it's important they have the full picture. Okay? And the only thing that gets you through is going to be the help of God. When people and things start happening, you just be like, God's got me. But we will feel pain unless we can all pull off the biggest concert of the fucking millennium by June 19th and have a global peace deal starting with the Middle East. When the Jews and the Muslims start making peace deals, you know it's time to fucking rock and roll. So